This section is going to focus on the Disney Renaissance, the period from 1988 to 1999 that is best known for re-sparking public interest in Disney, and it is also Disney's return to stories based on famous tales. This time period can be aligned with both second wave feminism and the civil rights movement. Look at how race and gender are being portrayed in the princesses of this era. Though once again I'll stick to gender because race, while very important, is a massive issue that cannot be covered in this short lecture. Rebecca Ann de Rosario best describes one difficulty in examining the change, or lack thereof, of representation over time, when she says, "One of the major difficulties of dealing with Disney feature animation is that it is caught in a perpetual time loop created by the Magic Kingdom, and thus the day-to-day histories of the princess tend to be under-recognized. The Magic Kingdom, quasi-medieval but riddled with anachronism, seems to perpetuate a timelessness detached from social progress, yet it is a timelessness continuously updated and reinvented by the studios and marketers." This idea of the Magic Kingdom as being timeless, while simultaneously being detached from social progress, is really important to examine. Throughout this section, I'll be looking at the Disney Renaissance and how the princesses of this era are represented as opposed to their predecessors. First, let's take a quick look at Walt's princesses. We have Snow White, Cinderella, and Aurora. All three of these women are white and represented in a passive capacity. Snow White and Aurora spend most of the time asleep, while Cinderella is a maid to her stepsisters. They all lack agency and are dependent on men to save them from their current situations. I don't think many people would argue that these three women are positive representations of what it means to be a woman, and this is pretty unanimous in both the academic community and fandom. The Disney Renaissance period, comprised of Ariel, Belle, Jasmine, Pocahontas, and Mulan, is where changes began to occur in the representation of women. Ariel is the first princess to assert authority towards an authority figure, and despite the fact she gave up her voice in order to pursue a man, she is still recognized as the first Disney princess to have agency and make her own decisions. This trend continues through the 1990s, with Belle, the first princess to actively refuse a marriage proposal.
Do you know who that little wife will be?
Let me think.
You, Belle.
Gaston, I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say.
Say you'll marry me.
I'm very sorry, Gaston, but I just don't deserve you.
Whoa!
When analysing films, it's important to look at specific scenes or moments in order to develop a more cohesive and strengthened argument. Looking at Belle, we can see that she does defy gender norms. She reads, and as we have seen in the clip I played earlier, the townspeople say, "But behind that fair facade, I'm afraid she's rather odd." Here the film itself is questioning Belle's rejection of gender expectations, and this can be seen by the way that the other characters refer to her as odd and different from the rest of us. Belle should happily and willingly take Gaston's hand in marriage, but to her there is more to life than marrying the first guy that comes along. The last three princesses of the Renaissance period are a further step forward in feminism and the representation of women, in that all three are women of colour. This is a massive leap forward for Disney, and despite the lingering racism in these portrayals, the commentary that these films provide on gender is worth examination. Jasmine is another princess who defies patriarchal standards.
Jasmine, your Highness, no. I must intercede on Jasmine's behalf. This boy is no different from the others. What makes him think he is worthy of the princess?
Your Majesty, I am Prince Ali Abahwa. Just let her meet me. I will win your daughter.
How dare you? All of you, standing around deciding my future? I am not a prize to be won.
The women of this era all take control of their own future, and no man is going to stand in her way of her own destiny. Pocahontas is an interesting character to examine, because for her, race and gender are strongly intertwined aspects of her identity. The following clip highlights this factor.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
In this clip, gender and race become intertwined through the meaning of her statement to John Smith. While she's referring to a long history of colonization, gender becomes present through her identification with nature. This is through a lens called ecofeminism, where women are aligned with nature and men with industrialization. This is a deeper issue that I will not have time to cover right now. The final princess of the Renaissance period can be seen as the culmination of decades of less than ideal representations of women. Mulan defies both the law and her family's wishes by secretly taking the place of her father during the war. Mulan becomes an active agent as she discovers more about herself in the process of fighting.
Hey, come back! How could you miss? He was 3 feet in front of you!
As many fans have noted online, Mulan is by far the Disney character, heroine or villain with the highest body count ever. The production team drew 2,000 Hun soldiers during the Hun's attack sequence. Only 6 Huns survived the avalanche. This makes Mulan's final body count 1,994. The princesses of this era all take control of their own fates, and this representation continued through the revival era. In the next section, I'll discuss Frozen as a new phenomenon and how it differs from the films that come before it.